Hey, shalom, all praises to Yahweh Hashem Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect, as always. Another brother's pushing his work in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother Thamine from GMS Toronto, coming at you with another video. This video is concerning the Gentiles again. I took a couple of screenshots on Saturday since the topic was on, after camp. This came up. We're talking about it during camp also, and the Gentiles is definitely a hot topic because you have men that crept in unawares who are slowly trying to poison the minds of the elect, right? Because that's who they're really trying to corrode, whose mind they're trying to corrode and rot is the mind of the elect. But the elect, they're already sealed. They're not going to listen to you, right? That's what these spirits were sent on the earth to do, right? Try to deceive the very elect. That's not just for Esau, Edom, right? Because these men that are paid off, they're set up by Esau, Edom to do these things, to spread lies and spread hypocrisy and spread new way doctrine into this ministry, right? Concerning the Gentiles. So, Saturday I typed in, because I always do it just to see if they switch anything up, right? And I typed in, were there Jews living in Greece, right? And on AI overview, right, I Googled it, and it says yes, throughout history, and especially in the ancient and Hellenistic period. Because these people, when, they try to dispute that the Gentiles that's, in the New Testament, those are other nations. But it's clearly not, right? When you go inside the Apocrypha, it shows you how Israelites started living in Greece, right? When the scripture says there's no difference between Jew nor Greek, right? Those Greeks, it's talking about Israelites. Let me put this in a layman's terms so you can understand. Check this out. There is no difference between Jews nor African American. There's no difference between Jews nor a Jamaican. See where I'm going with this? So the Greeks, or I'll say like this, there's no difference between a Jew and American, right? It's the same thing. You have black Americans, you have Asian Americans, you have white Americans. Which Americans are they talking about? They're talking about the black Americans. That's who I'm talking about, right? If it's from a Jew's standpoint. Same thing with Greece. There were black Greeks. There were so-called white Greeks. With the black Greeks, they were Israelites from the tribe of Judah and Benjamin and Levi, right? And I'm sure there were other nations there too, right? Because Greece, they conquered a vast majority part of the world at that time, right? And Rome, So there were all manner of people there. It was a melting pot at one point. So Paul, he went to the Israelites that was living in Greece, right? And Corinth. And respective part where the other apostles were sent. There were Israelites there. So those Gentiles that we come to be so fond of, those are Israelites, right? There are two meanings of Gentiles, and I'm going to read this to you and let me know if this is not a Gentile. A Hellenistic period, right? So when you go into the word Hellenist, it's a Jew speaking Greek, right? A Greek speaking Jew, Salakia. So it says many Jews, which are the Israelites, living in Greece or in the areas under Greek influence, adopted aspects of Greek culture. Do we have to read this again and again and again? Which part of the Gentiles or Israelites do you not understand? They adopted Greek culture, man. Language, lifestyle, meaning what? They were worshiping those Greek gods and goddesses, right? And later on, the Roman god and goddesses, okay? Effectively acting like Greeks, while often maintain their core Jewish identity. Some of them did, but majority of them didn't even want to hear that they're Israelites. Just like you niggas, man. Just like you people now. And the scripture says there was nothing new under the sun. This process is known as Hellenization. Right? Let's get into the historical context, because it's a simple Google search, man. Right? Hellenistic period after Alexander the Great's conquest, Greek culture was dominant throughout the Eastern Mediterranean. Many Jews, right, which are the Israelites, in various cities adopted Greek as their primary language. So when you go into the Apocrypha, which you Christians also like to denounce, it gives you the history of how the Israelites turned into Greeks, how they started speaking Greeks. It tells you that they were killing their babies, right? They were, and it's over a period of time in the Apocrypha. It wasn't just one day. Okay, it slowly crept in there, and the Greeks started pretty much brutalizing our people, and the culture slowly crept in there, where people started sacrificing to Greek gods, and that's how the whole rebellion started. Because Mattathias and his 5 sons, Mattathias, he was pissed off the whole time seeing this thing happen, and then finally, when that Israelite man, came to the temple, and he was sacrificing that meat, right? In the temple, he got destroyed, man. Right? So that's how the whole Hellenistic period started, with Alexander the Greek and his 4 generals, right? To the extent that some Jewish scriptures were translated into Greek, the Septuagint, right? It says their culture and practices. Some Jews, which are Israelites, participated in aspects of Greek civic life that didn't necessarily compromise their monotheistic beliefs. Like what? Maybe jobs. But at that period, Jason and all those guys, hey man, that was a terrible time to be an Israelite, such as attending the gymnasium. So this definitely had something to do with participated in an aspect of civil life that didn't necessarily. This definitely compromised our way of life as Israelites. We're not supposed to be in the gym, because when you go into that word gymnos, that goes into naked. Okay, they worked out naked, so definitely not supposed to see the nakedness of a man, according to our customs. So definitely compromised the way of life. A center for education and exercise, not just exercise, it's naked exercise. However, the key distinction that even highly Hellenized Jews did not, and it goes, so it's here, Romanoid Jew or Jews. The indigenous Jewish community, which is the Israelites, present in Greece for over 2,300 years, spoke a dialect of Greek and Yavonic, which that's not even a word in our language, and were integrated into Greek society and culture for centuries, distinct from later Sephardic and Ashkenazi arrivals. They developed a unique synthesis of Greek and Israelite tradition. Okay? So that's what happened. Right? See this picture right here. So this is an icon. This was also on AI, and it's the so-called Negro right here. Right? See at the bottom of the screen there? Woolly hair, dark skin, right? Those are the Jews. Let's see if I can bring this up. I think it's in the Apocrypha. It's Psalm 106. I'll just do Ezekiel since I'm on break. says here, Ezekiel 36:19, and I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way and according to their doings, I judged them. Right? And when they entered into unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. How do you think they profaned the Lord's holy name? Right? By worshiping their gods, by taking up their customs. Right? Oh, I'm trying to get rid of that thing and it's not going away. Just like how you read about them going their own way into the Greek and Roman society and profane the Lord's name. And we had to bring them back. That's why Yahushua died. Right? And profane my holy name when they said to me, these are the people of the Lord and are gone forth out of his land. So when you read these scriptures, how do you not get that they are Gentiles in the mind? And maybe Paul and Peter and all those guys, those apostles that were sent away, they went to Israelites that made Greek and Roman their customs. How come that doesn't come into your mind as a Gentile? When you read about the Gentiles, right, they were acting like Gentiles, right? And I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. So you can read a little bit more, right? Go among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles. Because a lot of you Christians, you don't have the Rakah Kodash. That's why you read with no understanding. Even this scripture right here is really self-explanatory, right? When you go to John 7:35, and it says here, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go? Then we shall not find him. Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Among mean they were living. Let me see. Let me put it so you idiots can understand. They were neighbors, right, with the other nations because they were in their land, right? Among. Let's see what among means. Let's get the word among. Let's see what it says here. Surrounded by the company of, being a member being a member or members of a large sect. The meaning of among is in or through the midst of. Okay? In the middle or surrounded by other things happening or being included as a part. Okay? Through the midst of, association, or connect with. So you see, among. That's what it means. Okay. Among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles. So that's self-explanatory. Among the other nation, to teach the Israelites among them. That's all this is, right? So he's asking if he's gonna go to the dispersed among the other nations, right, where the Israelites live, and in that area they're Gentiles in the mind, right, and teach the Gentiles, which were the Israelites, right? So there's two specific people that are being talked about right here, right? Dispersed, which are the Israelites who are dispersed among the other nations, right? And among that nation, among those nations, that's when they become Gentiles. So the Gentiles right here, the dispersed among the Gentile, the first Gentile are the heathens, and teach the Gentile, which are the second Gentiles right here, which are the Israelites. So let me read it again. Then said the Jews, right, which are the Israelites, among themselves, whither will he go? That he will not find him, that we will not find him. Will he go unto the dispersed, which are the Israelites, the dispersed among the Gentiles, right? So the Israelites are dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles, right? So that's two specific, two separation of people right here. The dispersed, which are the Gentiles, right? Which it's a connection with the second Gentiles right here. Dispersed among the heathen, Let's say heathen so you people can understand. Will he go unto the dispersed, which are the Israelites, among the heathen, and teach the Gentiles, which are the Israelites that were dispersed? Okay? Let's go Peter. 1 Peter 1. Diaspora. Actually, that word right there is supposed to be diaspora. Dispersed right here. Diaspora. Tribute or spread over a wide area, right? Disperse, dispersing, spread or distribute. Let me see what else we have here. It's supposed to be diaspora, but it's all good. Let's get one more. You can go to Acts. You can go to 1 Peter. You can go to James. First Peter 1 and 1. 1 Peter 1, verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus. So this is also, if I were to use that scripture that I just read in John 7 and 35, I'll read it the same way. Peter, an apostle of Mashiach, to the strangers dispersed throughout, dispersed among the Gentiles, okay? That were in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Bithynia. Right? Let me read it again. Peter, an apostle of Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. So they're scattered. Right? The strangers scattered, which are the Israelites, dispersed throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Elect according to the foreknowledge of the power the Father, throughout sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Mashiach Yahushua. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Okay, let's go James. One more. James 1. A servant, James, which is Jacob, a servant of Mashiach Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which is Yahweh there, and the Lord of Mashiach Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So you see who the dispersed is? The 12 tribes which were scattered abroad. This should be the only thing. This scripture right here pretty much break it down to you people simple and plain. This is the scripture right here, which tells you who James was writing to and who Peter and Paul and all these men were apostling to, man. They were preaching to the dispersed of Israel, right? So when you see all nations and tribes and kinsmen and all that stuff, when you see in Revelation, that's going into the dispersed. So when you see Israelites in Cappadocia and Galatia, wherever these guys are, you think they're gonna speak and look just like now, right? The Israelites in Greece right now, the Israelites in Rome right now, the Israelites in the Balkans, the Israelites in Africa, the Israelites in the Caribbean, the Israelites all over the place, man, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, Solomon Islands, right? All of them don't look like the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't all look like us, right? They look like the people that's in that land. That's why you people not getting it, because you want to save Esau. You don't care about Moab. You don't care about Ammon. You don't even care about the Hamites. You just want to save Esau. But the salvation is of the Jews, the Israelites, okay? Salvation is of the Jews. That's all you need to know. John 4:22. You worship, you know not what. We know what we worship, for salvations of the Jews. Let's see that word Jew right here. Right? Let's see what come of it. A member of the people of the cultural community with traditional bullshit. Nope. nation. Ancient Jewish people. There's no such thing as the ancient Jewish people. Ancient Israelites. But yeah, it's all garbage. Definitions just stupid. But we're talking about Israelites anyway. Shalom.